Welcome to episode 4 of the Sober Stretch, the podcast for anyone that has a problematic issue with alcohol. We are Craig and Gary, two former alcoholics, 10 years and 2 years nearly sober, and we've got a lot to say on the subject. Craig, how you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm very well, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, sound, yeah, just a break, on a little break with the family, so getting a tiny bit of relaxation from the children, but not a huge amount.
So, what we are going to talk about today is probably quite an interesting topic, I think, anyway, and it's the fear of sobriety being boring. So, liking the idea of being sober, but not liking the fact that you feel like your social life is going to be non-existent. I think it's a big thing that holds people back, and it did me as well, to be fair, because I was thinking, what the fuck will I do if I don't drink? I spent 99% of my life there.
Yeah, and if I cast my mind back like 10 years, I can still remember that feeling, thinking, oh, everything's going to be boring. You know, when I first stopped, I was convinced everything was going to be boring. I only knew how to have fun smashed out my head or on my way to being smashed. So, yeah, that was a massive thing for me. I felt like I'd be missing out on loads of stuff. I didn't think that... I thought things like gigs and football matches would be like dumbed down and less euphoric because I didn't have the, you know, the stimulant in me. And that's bollocks, really, because you end up not remembering any of it anyway. So, yeah, it was an issue for me. I still get it, to be honest. I don't crave a drink, but I still might walk past, I don't know, I might walk past a club, I can hear it pounding, you know, and think, God, I wish I was in there off my tits. Because, you know, I miss out on that stuff. But, you know, it's just tough shit, isn't it? You know, sobriety is the answer.
Yeah. With things like gigs, though, I've been to one. I went to see Richard Ashcroft sober, and it was completely fine because I went with my family. So the people that I went with weren't massively on it as well. But I do think, me personally, there is a lot of things that I say, no, I'm not going to, purely because I know everyone will be on one, and I'm just going to be stood there like an absolute twat. Just, do you know what I mean? Just not getting involved in anything. So there is a few things that I will say, nah, not for me. But I don't really give a fuck, to be honest with you. I don't feel like I'm missing out on a sick night or anything like that. Because for me, towards the end of it, I just thought all nights out was shite anyway. And the thought of having a good night for a couple of hours and then feeling awful for 3 days after, it was just like, what's the point? I don't know if you felt like that.
Yeah, I think there's a weighing up of it, isn't there? I think, how many nights out can you have that are epic when you're fucked? Because they're just the same night over and over again, really. Invariably, you do it with the same people because you tend to do it with your mates and the people that you trust, the people that are also smash heads that you like hanging out with. And then, you know, when you get to about 30, is it not time to just go, well, Friday's going to be exactly the same as last Friday? Like, what's the fucking point? I'm going to experience the same thing and I'm going to feel shit again. And I try to like program myself to remind myself how shit I was going to feel, and the payoff just wasn't really worth it. But I recall really feeling it. I think that's one of the things that stops people trying more than anything, don't you?
100%, because especially more so if you're used to going out every single weekend, because you don't know what it's like to have a weekend in. I couldn't tell you the last time when I was drinking when I didn't go out or have a drink that weekend. So the thought of never drinking again or finding things to do that you thought or you think will be fun without getting fucked, I just couldn't imagine that feeling. And everything that I done involved alcohol. Going to the pub involves booze. Watching football involves booze. Watching EastEnders involved booze. Not that I watch EastEnders anymore, but everything involved booze. So it was a daunting thought to lose that, you know?
Yeah, it's almost like it's not that it's the fear of missing out. It's the fear of How am I going to cope? How am I going to enjoy anything?
I know, yeah.
Because when you really sit down and think about it, you are just trying to recreate the same buzz every weekend, every Thursday night, whatever, and you just it's a life of repetition, and that I think if you truly want to get sober, you just have to realize that there are some elements of your life that are going to be shitter, maybe at the beginning. And you're going to have to go through that pain of thinking that you should be there and thinking you should be with the boys or whatever. And it's just tough. You have been cursed with alcoholism. You've got to go through a bit of pain and you're going to have to miss out on some shit. But I think in time, you start to realize, you start to reconstruct things and you think, oh, a trip to Kew Gardens sober. It's actually a thoroughly enjoyable day out. And I think there's an element of becoming smug about things when you get sober. You're like, yeah, I went to a flower show and fucking enjoyed it. Do you know what I mean?
100%. Acceptance is probably the biggest thing, because you can sit and wallow and be like, oh, I'm missing out on this. And if you literally do sit and do fuck all, you are just waiting to relapse. Whereas if you just accept that you have been cursed with this thing called alcoholism, where you can't just have one or two, then as soon as you accept it, you can start moving forward. But the acceptance is the hardest thing. Just accepting, shit, maybe I do actually have a problem and I can't have a drink. That's it. No one's asking you not to drink water ever again. It's just booze.
Yeah, you said that to me the other week about no one's asking you to not drink water. You lucky bastard, it's only booze.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But no, there is. I think it's something that is going to take time for you to get used to. So getting used to saying no to your friends, getting used to saying no, I can't do this, or I don't want to do this, or you might try and do the thing sober and just not enjoy it. So naturally, you just think, nah, it's not for me no more. But there is a lot of things that I don't do now that the old me would have done. So there are things like weddings and stuff, so much better. But when people do start talking a load of shit after 5, 6 beers, that's when it
Yeah.
starts getting difficult, and I'll leave earlier than what I used to. But you can still enjoy things like that.
Yeah, but if you go to a wedding and you stay sober, there does reach a point where the other people, the other guests, just become nauseating wankers, and that is true of any drinking situation where you're sober. I have certainly found. I think most people after about 6 or 7 beers are slowly becoming knobheads for the rest of the night until they wake up the next morning. And I know that because I was one. Because I used to wake up and think, "Oh, I was a knobhead last night." So like, if I was in the morning sober, able to recount how much of a boring drunk knob I was being, then surely as a sober person you realise just how mundane the repetition of the nights out are, and you think, do you know what? You might need to go through a spell of not going out at all. Like I've said that before in the podcast, 2 years of kind of living like a monk. And when I like dipped my water back into social situations, I left early because couldn't be doing with people. People were a bit like jovial and fun, and then it was like 10:30. And I was like, right, I'm gone. I can't be asked for this. And
Yeah,
then I would walk home thinking, I have made the right decision. I am in control of my life. I'm winning this now. And it just, and then I'd know that I'd be waking up in the morning and I'd be going on a hike and I'd be excited about it because I knew it'd be fresh. So yeah, you're right. It's you sitting around being bored out your skull at home is asking for a relapse. You can
yeah,
still do things in the evening if evening is your drinking time that can be fun without booze. Fact,
yeah.
hard fact.
No, exactly. You just adjust, I think. Naturally, things just adjust. It's not like you have to completely map out your life or your day. Things just change as you get older and you get wiser. You just learn to cope differently. So for me now, I'm a days out guy and nights in. I know I'm
Hmm.
32 going on 60, but that's what I enjoy. I make the most out of days now to compensate for the nights that I'm going to have in, So doing shit that I wouldn't dream of doing when I was drinking. And you are so right. Like when people do have, you can the chat at the start's fine. Say you're in a
Mm.
pub where you go for something to eat, the chat's fine, and then every pint they have, they start doing your head in more and more and more, and the same conversations are happening, and you're thinking, "Hold up, we've literally just spoke about that. Am I going fucking mad?" Or, but that's what it's like. That's what it's like, isn't it? You go over, you talk about the same shit non-stop.
Yeah, and it's not just the same shit over the course of the night. It's quite literally the same shit over the course of years.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, oh, I remember
yeah,
talking about this 9 years ago when we were in the Grey
yeah,
Goose or whatever it was called, the Grey Inn. I don't know. Um, it's just like, oh, mate. I think what you've just said about the day, if you are someone that equates a good time to a good night out, but you're trying to get sober, you need to fill your days
mm,
with as much, especially at the weekends. No, we're probably predominantly talking about Saturday and Sunday. If your Saturdays are
yeah,
rich and fulfilling and rewarding, then
yeah.
come the evening, there is no kind of search for a dopamine hit, is there? It's more like oh, I've
No,
had my fun, and then you just, I don't know, lean into the evening.
yeah, and you actually look forward to just chilling out because you've done so much during the day. You've got so much done. Relaxing's actually fucking nice, but
Yeah, because the likelihood is you're relaxing without having all that stress and anxiety and worry from the previous night. You're
yeah,
instead just, you know, trying to recall nice parts of your day.
no, exactly, exactly. But I remember my first. I don't get it anymore, but I would say for my first 6 months, I would have dreams that I've relapsed and I've gone out, and I'd wake up thinking, "Fuck, what have I done?" And then it hit me that I hadn't, and it was just a dream, and I was like, "Thank fuck for that," because I could feel the hangover. It was fucking horrible. I could feel the anxiety. I could feel like my whole family thinking, "Oh my god, you're back. The fucking demon's back." But
The demon.
yeah, mate, because that's what it was probably like. To be fair, fucking horrible. Because I probably was a demon once I started. I couldn't stop, mate. That was it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if one's too many, a thousand's not enough. Is
Yeah. What? So
that
what?
right?
Yeah, 100%. What would you say you've done since quitting drinking that's not boring that you wouldn't have done if you was drinking?
Oh, I think top of the list would be all things nature related. I used to think nature sounded like the most boring gig going. Yeah, we're going for an 8K walk tomorrow. Like, I can walk 8K in the pub from
Yeah.
playing darts all day.
Yeah.
Are you insane?
Yeah.
And yeah, all things nature. At the beginning, I lived in a beautiful place, and I had the opportunity to, enjoy the beach, enjoy the city that I lived in was stunning, in Seville, and I would venture out and I'd start to like discover regional secrets that I would never have encountered.
Yeah.
So yeah, nature was massive for me. I remember I've mentioned it on a couple of podcasts, like like when I've appeared on others and with you. But my best mate, him and I lived together in London, and then his partner got pregnant, and he was like, right, I'm going to relocate back home. And he wrote a list on an A4 bit of paper, and he stuck it on his cupboard wall of all the things that he'd like to do in London before he moved back.
Yeah.
And he had like 4 or 5 months before he moved back, and it was pretty much everything because all we'd done the whole time he'd lived there was just sit and get pissed.
Yeah.
So we looked at this list. It was like St Paul's Cathedral, an evening at the South Bank. Just a ridiculous list
Yeah.
for a drinker, but just a list of normal activities for a normal person.
Yeah.
So quite literally anything and everything.
Yeah. No, I can relate to that as well. I said it before. People have actually took the piss out of me climbing mountains and shit because I'm not one of these guys now that's like, I don't try and preach it, at all. Maybe it comes across as preachy, but
No way.
going, I don't know what it does. I think nature and that. I think that's medicine for the mind and stuff. I know if I've sat in all day and done nothing, I can feel myself getting anxious, depressed, start thinking, "Oh, what's the fucking point?" All this, that, and the other. Whereas if I go
Mm.
out for a walk and I'm at one with nature, I I feel so I feel so much better, and it's so fucking weird because I'm the exact same. I could not have, mate. When I was drinking, I would rather get a taxi down the road than go for a walk because I just thought, "What's walking shit?" Do you know what I mean? But we're blessed. We're blessed. We've got two legs that work. We can walk, and it's like free medicine. Honestly, it's around my area. Not so much. I mean, Farnborough is not the nicest place. I mean, unless you want to walk past a Greggs or something like that, or a Poundland. But there are nice places to go. Like I've climbed Snowdon. I went to Wales the other day and done Penny Fan, and how you feel after is just beautiful.
Yeah, and like you say about the gratitude about having two legs that function properly, and prior to that, you would have preferred to get a taxi. It's
Yeah.
like, A, you lazy bastard, and B, you ungrateful fuck, you know?
Yeah.
Because I found certainly, like, I think there's a lot to be said for walking, you know, not just nature, but just that walking, that like boom, boom, pound of streets, pound of streets. That really helped me at the start, in the first sort of 6 months to a year, just to be just to be active, constantly moving. But what was I going to say? The there's a sense of achievement with walking because I'd look at Google Maps and think, oh, it's only 3 miles. And before I'd think, 3 miles? How many buses do I need to get there?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. 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 You do you do find the simple things pleasurable, don't you? When you stop drinking, you don't take anything for granted. And like you said, like I could not dream of having any fun at all without drinking before. Like the thought of a walk, I can actually think about my old self thinking, fuck that. Like don't even try and get me involved in something that boring. Why the fuck would I want to do that? I'd rather go to the White Hart and fuck my life up, thanks.
Yeah. I know. And on paper and on balance, it's just such nonsense, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you would literally, if you continue like that, you literally experience nothing. I hate the word literally, but you only end up experiencing one thing your whole life: a job, maybe a small handful of things, and the pub and the booze and culture and the late nights and the back to yours or back to his. That just becomes your a prolonged period of existence, which, you know, when you get sober, you've got all this catching up to do. I don't think you can be bored because if you approach sobriety in the right way and you accept that you need to stop and you just, like you say, acceptance is everything, and you just accept it all and just throw yourself into a new life, there is so much shit to do and stuff that you haven't done previously that you should have done, that you start to want to claw the time back. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? You're like, oh, well, I know that I didn't go to that museum that day because I decided to watch Luton Crystal Palace in the pub.
Yeah.
But there's another exhibition there that I'd like to go to, and I am fucking damned if I'm not going to go and enjoy it.
Yeah. I lost relationships over the amount of football I used to watch down the pub. That's not even a joke. Not even a joke. Like I would plan because I was such a shit boyfriend. I would I would be like on Monday, right, babe, that's it now. I'm not doing this no more. I can't. It's fucking shit. It's ruining everything. All I want because you're needy when you're hungover as well, or I am. And I'd be like, oh, I just want to spend a nice weekend with you, blah blah blah. And it'd get to Friday, mate, and I'm getting my dancing shoes on, and I'm going to the
Mm.
pub with the boys to watch the football, and then it's like, mate, what the fuck are you doing? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, do you know, it's even like things like sex, sober, you know? It's like a new discovery.
Yeah,
It is, isn't it? Honestly, it is because like a lot of the sexual relations you have when if you drank as much as we did, you couldn't. perform and enjoy it,
No,
or remember it and remember it. So there'd be
no,
like anxiety
mate.
anxiety the next day about
Some of my
everything.
performances I wouldn't want to remember. Trust me. um,
Yeah, 3 minutes of shame. Yeah.
3 minutes. I wish. My flipper would be going. I was too unfit to go for 3 minutes. Fuck me. Shit. If my mum's watching this, man. But yeah, sobriety is not boring. I can understand why it scares people because drinking is literally their life, or drugs are their life, festivals are their life, getting fucked up is their life. They don't have a personality unless they have a drink. I completely get that because I was the same. I wouldn't, even when I went to the pub, like until I had 3 pints, I was a boring twat anyway. And then I have 3 pints and I start perking up a little bit. And then that's a false perception of who I am anyway, because I have to have 3 drinks to think I'm fucking Jack the Lad. So things just change. You start finding little things, even things that don't cost money, more exciting and more pleasurable. I go to the cinema on a Friday night with one of my pals, and that's cool. I'm happy with that. That's actually all right with me. It sounds boring as fuck, but I promise you, little things, walking, doing something different, get out your comfort zone and do something a bit fun. I really want to go paddleboard, and I was meant to go this weekend, but I didn't in the end. But little things like that, natural medicine, I call it.
Yeah, natural medicine is free. It's rewarding. It's good for you. It's all of the good stuff. Like paddleboarding, as an example, I used to do that in Spain with a couple of mates, and it's just such a savoury, lovely day out.
Yeah, I can just
Uh,
imagine
uh,
it being fun. I don't know why,
oh,
or relaxing as well.
yeah, I mean, it's hard work, but like once you get to a certain point, you can just chill and you know. Again, you can't do that drunk because it's too dangerous.
No, yeah,
You're just eliminating the possibility to enjoy all the things in the world that aren't alcohol, which is everything.
yeah. No, I agree. I agree. Have you been to many events and stuff sober then? So I know you like your music. Do you still go to gigs and stuff like that now?
Well, when I got sober, it was in Spain, and for a long time I didn't. It's not as easy to go to find a gig at a drop of a hat in Spain like it is in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the best bands really only go to the bigger cities, and because it's a huge country, so that for example, when I lived in Valencia, third biggest city in Spain, it was pretty hard to find really good stuff.
Yeah.
And since I came back, I've become a father, so I've not been going. I've not gone to many gigs really, but I went to see Liam Gallagher at Nebworth. I bet everyone's surprised about that. Fucking
Same.
hell.
Same.
God,
I
did you
went to
go?
that. I went to that, which is funny because we were both there. I was off my head on
Ah,
on on God knows what, but that was actually one of the heaviest days of my life, drinking
wow.
and you know what else what. Yeah, that was heavy for me, man. That took me a long time to get over. And you was there sober, you smug fucker.
Well, we walked out of the area, whatever it was called, because it's big old place,
Yeah.
and somehow we got an Uber within about 10 minutes. We went back to my mate's house, and there was a boxing match on, and I fell asleep on his sofa, and I got up at like 6:30 and got an Uber home, fresh as a daisy. Remember all of it.
Wow.
And I went to Nebworth in 1990. What was it, 5 or 6? I don't remember. 7. I don't remember the first when Oasis played Nebworth.
Yeah.
And and I was only about 15, 16, but I had a few scoops, and there's parts of it I don't remember, but I remembered everything of the Liam Gallagher one.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, music's been a thing that kind of gig attending's kind of died a death with my sobriety, but that's cool, man. I rinsed it. I went to loads of gigs sober, but
Yeah.
just events like, I don't know, even going to like a fete or a farmer's market, I find fulfilling
Yeah.
on a Sunday morning. I'm like,
Yeah.
ha,
Mate,
ha.
I can see that. I need to have kids or something to go to one of them, otherwise I'll probably get accused of being a nonce or something. But yeah, no, I get you. You just kind of accept it, don't you? the fact that you're a dad now, do you know what I mean? You don't. It's not like you would have time to do that now anyway, even if you was
No,
drinking. So
I didn't have time to have a shower yesterday.
well, there you go then. There you go.
It's too much kid stuff going on.
Yeah, but no, I do. I know what you mean. You do some for me anyway. I'm cool with it. I'm just like, that's not the thing that I do no more. I don't. That's a part of my life that's been and gone. I've seen quite a few gigs, and I'm happy to not part ways with it. I probably love music more now than I did when I was drunk because I actually listen to the lyrics now. And my mate's got a band, and I think about the lyrics a lot more now than what I would have done if I was pissed. I just would have been like, oh yeah, decent. Never actually thought about it. But music has definitely got better since I've been sober, which is fucking weird, really.
Well, I don't know if it is, because if you're thinking about the lyrics on a more profound level, it's because you think about everything on a more profound level, isn't it?
Yeah,
Isn't it? That doesn't sound right. It's been a long weekend, man. I can't even speak English. Um,
in it.
so if you listen to the podcast, both of us speak terrible English, but we're fucking sober, so you might as well carry on listening.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck it.
But like the tiny. I remember. Do you know what? It's kind of going off on a tangent, but when in Seville, about 3 weeks sober, it was spring, and it was like all the flowers were blooming, and I walked to the end of this. I lived right central, and I walked to the end of this beautiful kind of castle wall when I had to go to work. And I remember one morning going, "Oh, I can smell." I was like, "What is that?" And I had to like find out from someone, but it turned out it was jasmine tree. And I just got obsessed with this jasmine tree. And I'm telling you, I wouldn't have noticed that hungover. I'd have just walked head down. I'd have smelt like bus fumes and just my own stench from the night before. And there I am, a 33-year-old alcoholic, recovered alcoholic, appreciating the smell of a jasmine
Yeah.
tree plant. I don't even know what it is,
Fuck knows. I
but
only know what
it's
jasmine
fucking
rice
nice,
is.
man. It smells amazing, eh?
I said I only know what jasmine rice is. But
Well, it doesn't come from a tree, but there is a
no,
tree or a plant.
yeah. But no, yeah. I went I went for a run at a place called Virginia Waters, not this weekend, last weekend. And I remember saying to the lads, I was like, "Can you smell that? That smells unreal." And I'm like, "What the fuck? Who am I?" Do you know what I mean? What is it with flowers when you become sober?
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Well, you've got a much more acute appreciation of everything. You've not been dumbed down by the liquor, because it does make you thick and slow and lethargic and yeah, turgid. There's no alertness that comes from that kind of lifestyle, is there? So
no, no.
I really did find, and if you are drinking and you can't see the wood for the trees, one day, mate, one day, not you, whoever's listening, you're going to appreciate that tree.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you are.
yeah,
Like just believers, just fucking believers.
yeah,
We speak from knowledge and years, collective years of experience.
yeah.
Um, I don't miss it at all, mate. At all.
No,
None
me
of it.
neither. Me neither. It's it's weird one because it's my birthday today, and I don't make a big thing out of birthdays. I never have. I don't like having all the attention on me or hearing from people that I ain't spoke to in fucking years saying happy birthday just because they feel like they have to. I'm just not that guy. And my birthdays have changed so much because today, like, I've been for a run this morning. I don't want to be that. Oh, look at me running on my birthday, but I'm happy with that. Normally, birthday just means heavy weekend, bank holiday as well. Work
Mm.
work would be work and fuck right off. There is no way that's getting seen to next week. Do you know what I mean? And
Seem to.
I'm I'm just it would have just been an absolute war with myself trying to get over that birthday weekend. So things just change so much, don't they? They really do. You're just happy with being content and you're happy with peace. You've had so much drama in your life from alcohol that when you get peace, it's just like, oh, fucking Lovely. Finally.
That's such a good point. And I think what people confuse peace with boredom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm convinced of it. Peace, contentment, not a lot going on isn't boredom. It's just not madness.
Yeah.
And I think I certainly defined the excitement of my life at that time by how mental things got. And if a night had been raucous and bonkers and loads of mad shit had gone down, half of me would be self-loathing for being part of it and all the, being depressed the next day. But also part of me would be like, oh, I've got so many wicked stories to
Yeah.
tell.
Yeah.
But at the time, maybe I didn't realize that I'd just be repeating different versions of the same stories. And that kind of lull in the excitement in your life, that's okay. So when if you are worried about being bored, why don't you just focus on the benefits more and think about, oh, I'm going to be at peace more often, not bored, at peace. Because I don't know about you, I mean, our stories are identical, I think, in the drinking sphere. I never, ever, from about 18 to 33, had any kind of peace in my brain. None.
No. No.
None.
No. No. The only time. No. I didn't. No. There was nothing peaceful about it at all. I couldn't imagine getting any peace. It was impossible because if I was drinking, then I was an anxious wreck. So peace is on the other side of the horizon, mate. No chance. But I'll tell you one thing: I don't wish it away now. It's like you said again, it's free, and to be able to live peacefully and stress free. Don't get me wrong, I still have stress in my life. That's standard.
Yeah,
Everyone does.
same.
But them moments where you've worn yourself out in a day and you can just relax knowing that you've got a lot done. You've had, I'm trying to think of the right word now. You've had a good day, you've got a lot done, and you're happy with that, you're content.
Mm-hmm.
And then you wake
Your
up
cup
the
is
next
full.
day. What's not to love?
Yeah, yeah. It's a mindset thing, isn't it? It's how it's perspective and framing, and when you accept, it's a really good point. When you accept you are what you are, you don't have those internal battles about missing out as much because you the conversation with yourself ends quite quickly. This is just who I am now. You
Yeah.
said it 20 minutes ago. This is who I am now, and I accept it. So instead of focusing on what I'm not able to do, which is just the same shit that you've been doing for so long, all these possibilities open up. And that's someone doing sobriety right, accepting it, letting it go, looking forward. That's doing sobriety right. Doing sobriety wrong is hacked. And we can't maybe did that at the very beginning incorrectly, but just hanging on for dear life,
Yeah.
strapping in on the sofa and hoping that all the heebie-jeebies go away. and in our case, they did, and we stayed sober. But it's you won't be bored. And also, I found I made a lot of new friends and a different type of friend, and I started to appreciate different personalities and characters that I maybe hadn't before.
Yeah.
I used to think that if you weren't up for getting smashed, then then you were boring. Really, I probably didn't really think that, but my
I
heavy
think I
drinking
did.
mindset thought that. Did you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. There is no way that I would have had a friend who didn't get flat out. It just wouldn't have happened. They wouldn't have liked me because we would have had nothing in common. So the people that I attracted were only people that enjoyed it as much as me.
Mm-hmm. Same.
But the majority of them would have more control than me. They could go back to their mistresses or something like that and eat dinner and go to bed. I couldn't. But there is no way. There is, mate. I was just a fat twat that used to drink down the pub. Do you know what I mean? What a normal person would have been like? Nah, he's not for me, and fucked off.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I would have.
Who's this fucking lunatic?
And
Yeah.
I would have been so bitter. I would have been like, you're a boring swat anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But sobriety isn't boring. I can see how it looks boring to people that drink, because the thought scared me so fucking much of being boring. What am I going to do with my life? But you can't think that deeply into it because it just happens. Everything just levels out and becomes the new norm. We haven't exactly painted a great picture. We've been talking about walking and smelling flowers, so I can see how it doesn't seem not boring. But only if you drink, you'll think that.
Yeah, but also you have to. I think we have to. The type of people we were as drinkers, even us are now even you and I are now in a position to enjoy trees, mountains, and flowers.
Yeah,
So I think in some ways we're painting the best picture possible. Or even you two, that like the classic like football loving, pub going, gear sniffing when the time's right, all of that kind of persona. Even
yeah,
you guys can enjoy Snowdon, you know?
yeah, yeah. And it's made me think, actually, it's not as if more things arise in your life. It's the fact that you just appreciate the smaller things more, which are still there when you're a fuckhead. But because you're getting drunk, you're always trying to find the next level. So you're always trying to outdo yourself until there is nothing else. That's
Yeah.
that's it. So you've reached the
Well,
ceiling.
yeah, the pinnacle. Yeah, if 7 pints isn't enough to excite you as a drinker, how is the smell of a rose going to? You know?
Yeah, exactly. That is the nail on the head.
Just for fucking nonsense, stupid, man, stupid. And then I remember, I remember having a period in England and seeing. I was back in London for a while, and I'd look and say, "Oh, so and so, political correspondent is doing a talk at the South Bank," and I'd be like, "Oh, I'm going to go to that." I wouldn't have known said political correspondent existed as a drinker, but going down the YouTube rabbit hole, I might have found this person that I find interesting and like his take on, geopolitics, and suddenly I'm going to go and listen to him speak at I don't know, some kind of beautiful theatre. It's so far removed from the person that I used to be, but it's just normal.
Yeah, exactly. It just becomes so normal. I mean, again, everyone is different, so everyone's got their different opinions on what's fun and what's not. I personally might not have enjoyed that. Do you know what I mean? Because
You
I,
didn't look
I still
convinced.
I still don't even know what it is. So everyone has their different idea of fun and stuff like that, and that's absolutely fine. That's what makes everyone unique. Not everyone has to be the same person. Not everyone has to have. Your fun might be completely different to mine. I'm sure we have a lot of things in common, like music and stuff like that. You've got a good music taste, and so do I, if I don't say so myself. But everyone's idea of fun can be something different, and that's absolutely fine. Did you have any hobbies at all when you was drinking apart from getting fucked? And I'm being serious. Like,
And you
what did you like to do that involved drinking or didn't involve drinking when you was an alcoholic? That's a serious question.
Yeah, it's a very easy one to answer as well. No,
No,
not really. Not really.
I
There
know.
was loads of shit I wanted to do, but I was in
Yeah,
turmoil because I knew I couldn't get it together. But there was nothing that I actively pursued. Like I
exactly.
didn't go to. I remember when I lived in Barcelona, my ex-girlfriend and I used to go to what's it called? Swing dancing.
I
Like
thought you were going to say
1950s.
swinging there.
Not swing in, no, but like swing Lindy hop. I think that sound that I'm making indicates exactly the type of dance. Um, So like, yeah, I never did anything like that when I lived in the UK and just getting
Yeah.
pissed all the time.
I
No,
can
I had
see
no
why you'd
hobbies.
need 6 pints to be able to do that as well, just to loosen up.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, felt like a right knobhead. But no, not really. I have to be brutally honest, which is tragically sad for like, a relatively intelligent, normal person aside of the drink to have no hobbies. And
No,
that really drove me mental, man.
none.
There was an inner conversation with myself about you've got there's so much to enjoy. I knew there was so much to enjoy, but I just couldn't get myself together to enjoy it, and it really, really bothered me for many years that I didn't
Yeah,
have any hobbies. Because my other friends, I had this one particular friend in London, David, who just was one of life's winners. He would go out and get fucked at the weekend, and then he'd be in a meeting, property surveying on the Monday morning, like fresh as a daisy somehow, and put in a 60-hour work week, then go to a wine sommelier course, and then he'd go to this, that, and the other thing. And I just looked at him. He was younger than me. Like, we were so close, but I just admired him greatly.
yeah,
And I knew that he was the kind of the holy grail of behavior.
yeah,
It's like, why can he go out and get
yeah,
rinsed all weekend,
yeah,
but he'll at 12 o'clock on Sunday he'll be like midday, he'd be like, nah,
yeah,
got stuff to do tomorrow, and
yeah,
he'd walk out the pub. He wouldn't even come to the pub. He'd just look at you
yeah.
thinking, yeah, all right, well, I guess you're going to the pub then.
What a life. He could do it, and you had to accept that you couldn't. That's just the way that your brain is wired up. And
Yeah,
if it's not affecting him, who gives a fuck if he has a few beers on a Monday night? Do you know what I mean? If he's still going to have a
yeah.
successful day and do everything that he wants to do tomorrow, fair play to him. But you
One of
can't.
life's winners, man.
And I feel like maybe it was hard for you to accept at one point that you couldn't be like him, but that's just the way it is.
Hmm.
It's just,
Yeah,
I feel like it solidifies the point that when you was drinking, you didn't have. I'm not laughing at you. I think it's
no,
quite
laugh
funny.
away, mate.
I think it's quite funny because it's sad, and it's the same for me. We didn't have one hobby, so yeah, I would enjoy watching football steaming down the pub, but I was one of them dickheads who would shout at the TV, fat as fuck, looking forward to eating a kebab maybe if I hadn't done loads of gear. That was my life. That was my life, and
Yeah.
I don't. I didn't have one hobby. I stopped playing football because of booze. I stopped going to the gym. I stopped doing everything that I enjoyed from when I was a kid growing up. What I wanted to
Same.
be, I stopped everything. It took over everything, and I think that's sad as well because when you're a kid, you look at kids now, they're so innocent and they've got all these aspirations and stuff, and their future's so bright, and then the thought of alcohol just taking everything away that they've dreamed of, they suddenly have no interest in it. That's sad. Really fucking sad, I think.
Yeah, because if you imagine, like, I don't know, some kind of angel figure coming down and sitting on an 8-year-old boy's shoulder saying, "Hello, little boy. Do you know that when you're a teenager and older, a magical liquid is going to ruin every element of your life?" The little boy would be like,
Oh, I
Dad,
know.
Dad, help me out here.
I
Like,
know.
that's what happened to me.
It's sad. It's fucking
A
sad.
well-loved little boy in a happy family who always had food on the plate and a roof over his head and clothes, everything mapped out for him. But oh, little boy, a little pale brown liquid is going to destroy your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck that, man. If you're listening to this now and you think it's going to be boring, it's going to be boring, your dreams are being stolen from you.
Yeah. If
Your
you've,
your future is being robbed from you because you're unable to quit drinking. Once you quit drinking, you get your life back. You get your
yeah.
fucking life back. It's as simple
Yeah.
as that.
Yeah. If you've been cursed, why am I saying cursed? If you've been born with that brain that
Mm.
can't switch off and needs alcohol to function, and you don't stop, it will take away all of your joy. It will take away everything. Hobbies now, you're sober. What do you like to do now apart from In fact, no, start from fresh. It's going to
Okay.
sound weird, isn't it? Because you can literally wake up and fucking enjoy it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, currently I have no hobbies because I have a 3-year-old and a
Oh,
7-year-old stepdaughter.
yeah.
No, but like joking, my hobbies now involve doing things with the kids.
Nice.
So, but if I go back maybe 5 years when I was still living in Spain as a single guy, what were my hobbies then? Which was probably more akin to a person looking to get sober now because they want to recreate, well, or create a new life for themselves. My hobbies invariably involved nature, art, and culture, cinema, theatre, and I was mad for it, man. I go to everything, anything. I go to flamenco nights in the caves
Yeah.
and you name it, baby. But now, as a dad, my hobbies include taking my kids down to the front. We live near the sea, and just watching them scoot along the front while I drink a coffee. I mean, that's about as joyous as it gets if they're not scrapping and pulling each other's hair out.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me right now, the girls love being outdoors. They don't care if it's pissing with rain. They love all kids love that. So just watching them do things like that is just so rewarding.
Yeah.
It's tiring, but it's rewarding. Like, what
Yeah.
about you? Tell me. We'll finish on this. Go on, because you're a bit younger than me, and there'll be a lot of lads listening to this who you're single, you're 2 years sober
Don't
nearly.
remind me.
What the more opportunities, mate. Endless possibilities. But what would a lad in your position find interesting about getting sober? How's it changed?
So, um, all the things that I used to love have sort of come back, and a few more. I'd say it sounds so generic, but for me, going to the gym and doing any form of exercise, that's what keeps me ticking. So I don't like because I know how bad I felt and how fucked and disgusting I looked and physically felt. The fact that I can train now and run now, that's something that I will never take for granted again.
Mm.
I still like a lot of the things that I did like when I was a mess head, which is watching football. Things like that never change. You've still got that. The
Mm.
atmosphere is a bit different because you're not watching it down a pub with a load of twats, but
It's not as edgy.
so that's a big thing for me. And generally just enjoying days out and nights in. That is the 70-year-old me.
But that's the simple life. You've had the hectic life. Now you can enjoy the simple life. And I know for a fact that you and I and loads of other lads out there and women that are absolutely out of control with their drinking and they can't get a grip on it. They are looking for peace, contentment, and a simple life. And
Yep.
sobriety brings all of that. And
Yeah.
yeah, if it's boring, well, then fucking tough, man. It's boring. It's better than being an alcoholic. And it won't be boring forever because you'll find yourself, you'll reinvent yourself, and then you'll start to get new hobbies. So just get fucking sober and get living, as I always say on my reels. Like, it's true, isn't it?
100%, mate. 100%. You just got
Safe.
to just trust it.
Yeah. Trust the process, as Eric Ten Hag's been saying for the last 2 years. Trust the process.
Oh, mate, don't, because that's another thing, mate. If he gets a sack, mate, I know we shouldn't talk about this, but if he gets a sack, mate, after yesterday, I'll be fucking livid, mate.
I'll be raging. It'll take the shine off all of the weekend for me. So
I'll
yeah,
be
Craig and I are
done.
both United fans. So if you're a City fan listening to this, unlucky. Yeah, it's been. But you have to trust the process. It's true of anything. So let's leave it there, mate. Shall we?
Yeah, man.
Trust the process.
That's what I
Safe.
said. Cool.
Right. We can be found on Instagram at the Sober Stretch. Craig, you've got your own individual pursuit on Instagram. Tell the people about it.
Yet it's at @livewithoutlimits_coaching.
And that's all things fitness and sobriety. My individual account is at Sober and Sound. Sober, the letter N, sound, sober and sound. And that's mainly completely about alcoholism and sobriety. That's where you can find us. Mate, happy birthday.
Thank you
FA
so
Cup
much.
winners. It's been a bank holiday Monday. It's a good weekend.
Yeah, mate. Living the dream. Living the dream.
Peace.
Thank you, man. Catch you later.
Take it easy.
Bye-bye.
Sound. Bye.